Welcome to Peace of Mind, you guys. Today we're going to be watching immigrants react to Trump's deportation. Now, there's a lot of different perspective I'm going to be showing you guys and talking about with y'all. So thank you for coming. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.
I'm back, bitches. It only took 2 fucking days or a couple hours, you guys, and I'm back in the U.S. See, I told you guys this immigration shit wasn't gonna stop nothing, you guys. Nothing. It's not gonna do shit. We're all gonna come back. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm just waiting for my ride now, but you guys, I'm back. I'm back. And I don't give a fuck what y'all think. If y'all want to hate me, but shit. I'm back in the U.S. I can smell the chicken nuggets, the hamburgers. I just gotta watch out for ICE around this parking lots because those motherfuckers be hiding. But we back in the motherfucking States, you guys. Y'all better not fucking report my fucking account, you motherfuckers. Because then ICE will find me. But yeah, I'm out here chilling, you guys. I'm here waiting for my motherfucking ride.
When we think about mass deportation and deporting individuals who are here unlawfully, I think most of us are hoping this individual like this, someone who clearly has no respect for the law, no respect for authority, and no respect for doing things the right way. He seems completely indifferent to any of our opinions or any of the repercussions that will come, right? So someone like this, us seeing him prance back into the U.S. with such a carelessness, of course it's going to be like, yep, this is why we need Trump to deport people back home. They have no respect for the land. They have no respect for what's going on. But I wish majority of the people being sent back home, being deported, were individuals like these. But that's not the case. I wish people who were being deported were individuals like this who might not have kids, who might not have a lot of responsibilities, so they don't care. But that's not the case, and we're going to see.
Well, it was bound to happen with this administration. The new Trump administration is removing the Social Security disability checks for all undocumented people. He said, no more. If you're undocumented in this country, you will no longer get Social Security disability. Who's going to tell him, though, that undocumented people are not eligible for Social Security disability? Yeah, someone needs to tell Donald Trump that in order for you to get Social Security disability, you need a Social Security number, a valid one. Surely he knows this, right? Here's the funny part. People don't believe that undocumented people pay for taxes, but they do believe that they get Social Security benefits. Make that make sense. Surely somebody's going to tell him. I'm going to take it upon myself to write to the president. Mr. President, did you know, sir, that the undocumented cannot get Social Security disability? The reality is they should get it because they're already paying taxes into the system, but they will not see $1 out of it.
Deported. My mom just got deported. It's so not fair. It's so not fair. She's literally not a criminal. Like, she literally just paid her taxes. She's literally just... We're not safe. No one's safe. Please. Hug your loved ones, please.
I want to get rid of illegal immigrants, quit eating. And that's for everybody. That's, nationwide. If you want to get rid of them, quit eating. That'll solve the problem.
But when only 5 pickers showed up this morning to harvest his sweet potatoes, farmer Keith Smith saw possible ruin, the loss of his $500,000 crop.
They're running scared because of this new law.
And you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble, bad trouble.
Smith's 200 acres need 20 pickers, mostly Mexican nationals.
There is not enough documented people here to supply that workforce.
Most of your workers are here illegally.
That's sure. If they got documentation, they got a better job than working for me.
Fernando Aldeman, a Mexican national, has worked Smith's farm since 1992.
Everybody's just scared.
Yeah.
Now, are you here legally? No.
No.
So, are you scared?
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared, you know.
Smith's pickers make about $100 a day. He supports immigration laws, just not this one that threatens his third-generation family.
To my fellow Catholics who have spent the better part of the last 8 years justifying a vote for a felonious, adulterous bully by saying the abortion issue is what aligns with my faith the most. But now, when you hear the Pope come out against Trump's immigration policy and against what Vance tried to say about the immigration policy, and your comment is not my Pope, maybe it's time to really admit whom you are worshiping.
Today's inauguration day for a man that I do not stand for, who is starting ICE raids in the city of Chicago, where I live, tomorrow. I'm a byproduct of immigration. This tattoo that I have on my wrist is very personal. It says 1985. It's the year that my parents illegally immigrated to the United States. They crossed a river with a baby in hand, almost drowned, got shot at, got smuggled in a truck, feared for their lives, were hungry. You name it. The way that it happens in movies, that happens to people. All because they wanted a better livelihood for themselves and for their family. And I know there's a lot of opinions on immigration, and I do think that this country has an immigration problem, but I do not think ICE raids to instill fear and danger to people that have been here for so many years, I don't think that making DACA illegal is the answer. There are so many things wrong with what's about to happen, and I feel a bit helpless. I and my family, we face scrutiny, we face prejudice, we face racism, and we grew up to be exemplary people in society. We pay taxes. My sisters and I are lovely, educated women that contribute to our communities. And yet people think that immigrants are responsible for the high crime rates. That's not a true statistic, and I beg people to do their research. All in all, I fear for the people of Chicago and other cities. I feel for them, and I am just feeling eerily sad today.
Hey everyone, so take a listen to this Kamala clip and come right back.
Now they have pledged to carry out the largest deportation, a mass deportation in American history. Imagine what that would look like and what that would be.
So in this clip, Kamala is decrying the idea of a mass deportation plan. And for many people, the idea of mass deportation sounds callous and unfeeling, and may appear to be not representative of the generosity of Americans. Now, from my perspective, America is the most generous country by far. So to get people to the point where they are okay with mass deportation means something has fallen through the cracks. And the thing that has fallen through the cracks is the consent of the people. I remember when Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005. Many people were displaced, and I remember Americans opening their homes, especially in Texas, to strangers who had been displaced by the hurricane in Louisiana. Many people opened their homes because of their own generosity, not because the government ordered them to. And every time there's a natural disaster in America or anywhere in the world, Americans rally together and show their generosity. So to get Americans to the point where they're open to mass deportation, that tells you that the government did not seek the consent of the people in allowing the mass influx of immigrants, illegal immigrants in many cases. Imagine waking up in your town and seeing that the government overnight has dropped thousands of people onto your streets without any care on the pressure that puts on the infrastructure of the city. Imagine waking up and finding your community centers, your hotels, your schools overrun with migrants without your consent. This is how you manufacture hate. This is how you manufacture racism. This is how you manufacture bigotry, because most people will not be okay with waking up in the morning and finding their home filled with strangers, placed there without their consent. So the question is, if the government and the Democrats who have allowed this understand that by doing this, by bringing in thousands of migrants without the consent of the people, they will engender dissatisfaction. Why are they doing it? Unless it is their plan to sow chaos. And then they turn around and accuse the people who have been displaced of being xenophobic. Americans are generous, but the generosity of Americans has never been due to government diktat or coercion. It has always been voluntary and genuine. The fastest way to create hate, the fastest way to turn people against their fellow man, is to force them into a corner. And over the last 3.5 years, Kamala Harris, the border czar, has forced Americans into a corner. And come November 5th, it is my hope that Americans pay her back by helping her pack her bags out of the White House, send her back home to California, so she can reap the consequences of the policy she has imposed on the rest of us.
I understand the lens this individual is coming from, especially as someone who's a legal immigrant. It's very easy, us legal immigrants, especially if we're from Africa, if we're from the Caribbean, us legal immigrants who we say we came out here quote unquote the right way, it's very easy for us to miss the mark and for us to align ourselves with ideology that really isn't even in our best interests as a means of self-preservation. We're really good at this. And I see exactly the lens in which he's coming from, right? He's appealing to the everyday American people. I'm guessing he's some form of a politician or some form of a public speaker. But there's just so much hole in his appeal, in the claim he's making, right? He's appealing to the ego by stating that Americans have always been generous. Americans have never needed the government to push them into doing something kind. I don't know where this man gets his history from. I don't know if this man remembers that, hey, we're black. And during the civil rights movement, that was quite the opposite. For slavery, that was quite the opposite. Americans have always needed executive orders and laws to force them into actually doing the right thing, right? When our ancestors were marching for our rights, the everyday Americans were throwing rocks at their heads, lynching, burning, killing. That was everyday Americans doing that. That wasn't the American government. The American government was spying on us, yes, but everyday American was terrorizing us in their neighborhood. So for you to make this statement that the everyday American people are the most generous, are the most kind people, and they don't need the government pushing them, they have such a woke conscience that they will do it themselves. And citing 2005 Hurricane Katrina, again, Louisiana is still being impacted by the damages of Hurricane Katrina 20 years later, right? Everyday Americans, some stepped in and helped individuals from NOLA, but at the end of the day, what the government and FEMA provided, that's what they got. And nobody ever since have stepped in again and helped. And that's just here in America. Americans have not always been the most gracious, generous people who are willing to rally around and do the right thing. Americans have needed organizations, other Americans who form organizations who are usually in the minority perspective, pushing through for these changes. Women's suffrage movement took a lot of suffering before women got their right to vote. Men didn't just willingly give us the right to have access to our own financial freedom and voting. So these are all BS, and it's not fair. If you want to appeal to these people, do so, but please stop the capping.
Way, I've paid taxes over 8 years. I've done all the stuff that I'm supposed to do. Doing everything in my hands that I have to get a work visa, and I literally exploded. I lost it today. I never cried about it to someone else other than my family, but I called my boss And I told him the only way that I have to stay in the US permanently is to get a work visa, because the other way that I had was marrying someone. But guess what? I fell in love and he's from my same city. So there goes getting an American boyfriend. Like, he's in the same exact position that I'm in, and it's just really scary times. I've never committed a crime. I know I'm not their targeted, like, immigrant, alien, whatever you want to call it, but I'm still scared. And I'm scared because I don't want to go back to somewhere where I'm gonna be scared for my life every single day. Like, and I feel like people don't really get that. I've lived like since I'm 16. I've been in Texas, and this has been my second home. All the opportunities I've had, all the friends I have, everything I have is here. My whole family is here, and I'm just scared that that's gonna go away. And I know the situation's not with me. Like, I know I shouldn't be as scared as I am, but I haven't been able to sleep just thinking about my options. And I don't want to go to Canada. It's too cold. So I've never cut in the internet either, but it's just like, I'm going through it. And I know there's other people that are going through it. So, you know, you have to be empathetic.
All the people I spoke with understand that every American president deports people. They mentioned President Obama. What Trump is doing is creating a panic, and he is being malicious and cruel in a way that I don't think we've seen any American president in my lifetime be, right? It's not about getting them out. It's about terrorizing them. And it's working, right? The other piece of this that is complicating is that the claims that these migrants are criminals, that they're sort of bloodthirsty or they're, bad actors, is not being met with any counterpoint. Right? It is literally up to the media and me, not just me, but to offer a counterpoint, to show who these people are.
Why? Where are the Democrats?
Because I think they feel very cowed by the 2024 election. They don't feel like, look at the Laken Riley act as an indicator for Democrats feeling like they need to play ball on this, which, listen, from a strategy standpoint, I'm not in Congress, but I do know that the mischaracterization of this group of people has, independent of the ethical and moral consequences of what we're doing to them, has real economic consequences. It's not just that they work in bars and restaurants, they work in construction sites, they work throughout the American economy. They also patronize parts of the American economy. You go to Newark, and it's like a ghost town in the area where they had the raid, because people are terrified to go out on the streets. These are small businesses that are getting affected. I mean, these folks are part of our country. They are part of the fabric of our society. Denying their humanity will have a bounce back effect on us, and not just our consciences, on our bottom line. And I think that, Democrats need to find the gumption to draw attention to the reality of things, because they are in the shadows as far as this debate is concerned.
My dad bought everything for me to live over here, the rent, and I don't know what I'm going to eat. And I'm so right now. I need my dad for me. My dad didn't do nothing. He's not a criminal or something. That's what the immigrants took them. But please let him free. The government, please put your heart. Let my parents be free with everybody else, please. Don't leave the child with kindness and everything. Thank you, that's all what words I have for y'all.
They appealed for his release today outside City Hall. Yesterday, I should say, outside City Hall.
My sisters are crying because their dad isn't here. So please, let him come home.
United States with a visa over the next 4 years by implementing the executive order that he signed just a couple of days ago, and major reforms to the U.S. visa process. So watch that video if you haven't seen it yet. Now they fired these people at USCIS, which would of course lead to slowdown with the processing of applications. Guys, there are things that you can do. proactively to fight against what you're seeing now. For instance, we will be gearing up to file more lawsuits for any unreasonable delays that our clients are going to experience with their immigration cases. You should do the same thing as well. It's going to be an aggressive time of litigation and pushing back and fighting. So just gear up and know that this is where we are now. Now, just to add more perspective, there are 2.3 million federal workers. Every year, our government loses 150,000 of them naturally through various means. They quit or they're fired or some people die. So the system sheds 150,000 per year. And then the system adds about 240,000 per year. So there's this replacement, and this is what goes on. It happens. And the New York Times talked about this recently with these numbers. So keep these numbers in perspective as you're hearing more and more news about the fire of things, so to speak, because naturally the system would have lost 40,000 employees each year. Obviously, they're not looking to replace people, right? They're not looking to add to the system. So just keep these big numbers into perspective here.
That's all I got for y'all today. Please stay prayed up. Please take care of yourself. You really deserve to have a wonderful day, y'all. Peace out.